Sound System presents Telephone Time.
Telephone Time with the stories of John Nesbitt.
How do you do, everyone? Will Porter of Texas was a fumbling, mixed-up kind of man, a failure, as we know from many of the letters which he wrote to his family. He served a brief term in prison and came out a calm, completely confident man. And since he also became a celebrated American writer, speculation about this transformation has been going on ever since. But our guess is that, of course, the change must have gone on deep inside himself. So this is our version of the story of the man who discovered O. Henry. To a tiny house in Houston, Texas, on a warm evening in 1896, a man came home from work. His work, newspaperman. His life's dream, to become a great writer. To neighbors, Will Porter here is one of those nice guys, but a frustrated genius who will never make the grade. To a tiny circle which loves him, however, Will is a man in terror. His salvation, it seems, merely selling a story. Perhaps not a very good story, but one that might sell for a little money.
Is that you?
Yes, it's me, Ethel.
You're home early.
I didn't go back to the office. It was too hot.
Did you find my note about the man?
I did. Where's Margaret?
Across the street at Mother's.
Ethel, that man who called, he's from Austin, Ethel. That old business.
How do you know that?
I know. I just know.
It's all forgotten now. It's 2 years. And you didn't do anything, Will. You didn't do anything.
Will Porter never did anything. Don't you understand, Ethel? The money was missing on my books. Do you think I'm going back and face that? Do you think they'll believe me when I say I didn't really steal the bank's money? I was just incompetent. Incompetent as a drug clerk. Incompetent as a newspaperman. Incompetent as a writer. And incompetent at keeping the books in a bank. I know what they'll say. They'll say, you're a great big boy now, Mr. Porter, and it's wrong to rob banks.
Will, stop it. Will. Will.
Do you want me to face that?
What other way is there?
To see you and Margaret smeared? Well, I won't, I tell you. I won't.
Mr. Porter? Will Porter?
I've been expecting you for 2 years.
we won't be in Austin until, say, 3:30 in the morning.
These things.
Oh, we'll take those off. You don't look like you'll give me any trouble.
Does this train stop at every whistle stop in Texas? I'd be glad if it was faster.
Don't hurry it. You must be getting pretty stiff, too.
Yeah.
Well, we'll stretch our legs when we stop for water at LaGrange. Meet the New Orleans Express there.
And on that night, Will Porter ran away. Into the land of the refugee, Central America, ran the newspaper man who couldn't make it to join the other wanderers. And for 2 years, the letters came back to Athol, to Margaret, filled with tender words and gentle make-believe for the child. Until Christmas, in a hot room in Honduras, when the fugitive opened his Christmas box from Texas. Athol, running temperature, 105, tuberculosis. She hasn't long to go. So, of course, a man goes back.
You know she's grown so. She's so pretty.
You'll never leave again, will you?
That's not what I came back for, Ethel. I've come to take care of you.
Take care of Margaret.
You sure she doesn't know? No one ever told her?
No. She thinks you've been traveling on business.
It's been 2 long years, Ethel. I never should have run away.
It's all right now, Will.
I'm going to Austin tomorrow, Ethel. I gotta try to clear up the mess.
I'm so glad, Will. You'll be cleared. I know you will.
In all his remaining years, Will Porter would never remember much of that trial, only flashes from a nightmare and a cold voice setting down what he had been as a man.
Poor old Will here. Bad in arithmetic. Couldn't even get a license as a pharmacist. Incompetent at everything. Criminal incompetence as a bank teller, guilty of embezzlement. Porter's a skipper, a bond breaker, a fugitive from justice. Justice will find him guilty.
It's mandatory that this court impose on you the maximum sentence. You are to rise and stand at this point, Mr. Porter. Now you're allowed to make any statement before hearing the sentence of this court. Speak up, please. The court reporter isn't allowed to record gestures.
No.
All right. 5 years in the federal penitentiary at Ohio. Have the prisoner handcuffed and taken in custody.
Perhaps the second nightmare was to enter a fraternity of strange and violent men who amazingly practiced hymns together on a Sunday morning.
10 a.m. We'll go to chapel on the 11 o'clock shift this morning. Will! You collect my newspaper and put it in order fast. And when I say sing, you sing, get it? All right, everybody. Rock of Ages. 1 and 2 and go! Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy riven side which flowed be a sinner. Stop! Shut up!
Save me from its guilt and power, not the labors of my hands can fulfill.
You stop when I say stop after this, or I don't like it. Gramps, clear out your bunk and move your stuff up to his by 5 o'clock this evening. All right, you. Come on down. Come on down! When I say sing, you sing. When I say stop, you stop. When I say get down, get down!
Am I supposed to obey you?
Tell him, Pinky.
Exie is a queer artist, see?
Counterfeiter.
He is a king in stir.
And furthermore, a counterfeiter don't go around pretending to be a citizen like you who says, ain't it a shame what the criminal element is doing to the country? And then takes off for Honduras with a couple of blondes and a suitcase full of $20 bills. Of what is the prisoner accused? Stealing from a bank and running off with the money.
Delaying doing his time for 4 years. Claims to be a newspaperman. Exercising all special influences with the warden.
Between 10:05 and 10:25, night before last, was seen in conversation with a screw Orrin Henry.
Yeah, and he hid a brown envelope with a picture of a dame and a kid in his bunk.
He wants the warden to see him without being sent for.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty!
So decrees the kangaroo court. Get off my bed, kangaroo! You're to slip your britches in hot! 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 All around this cell until I give you your sentence. All right, kangaroo! Hot! Hot! Hot, kangaroo! Hot! 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 Kangaroo! Hot! 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 Kangaroo! Hot! Hot! Hot, kangaroo! Hot! 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 Kangaroo! Hot! 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 Kangaroo! Hot! Hot!
This telephone story starts with a peek at the new neighbors next door.
Oh, good. The telephone man's just leaving. I can take this picnic basket over right away. Mrs. White.
Why, yes?
I'm Mrs. Long, your new neighbor.
How do you do?
I thought I'd save you worrying about dinner after the movers and all, so I made you up a basket of food.
Why, thank you. Won't you come in?
I'd love to. Oh, I'm just dying to see what you're doing with this house. Oh, there's a soup for the children in that thermos and a small casserole.
Why, how nice. My mouth's watering already.
Then try one of my cookies right this minute.
Thank you.
A kitchen telephone and on its own table. How clever.
Yes, it's going to be quite useful.
Well, I should say.
You'll have to excuse how the place looks.
Oh, I want to see it all. My, what a comfortable-looking chair. Oh, and it is. And a green telephone. How lovely.
Yes, it's very...
Yes, and you'll never have to move an inch. Oh, I must see the rest of the house. You're doing wonders with it. A phone next to the beds. Wait until I tell Henry that. He'll run right out and get one.
We thought it'd be handy in emergencies.
Yes, it couldn't be more convenient. But I've been holding you up. But I was just dying to see what you're planning.
It was very kind of you to fix all this food, Mrs. Long.
Loved it. Here, have another cookie. Oh, don't worry. There are more in the tin. Well, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Well, Mrs. White, they're installed and they're lovely. Of course, I owe it all to you. The way you raved about your phones the other day, I simply couldn't resist them.
Put in 3 months at the mill. That's the law.
Yes, sir.
You worked at a drugstore for 5 years. You ought to be able to dispense drugs from our prison pharmacy. What is the matter with you, Porter? The guard in your cell block says that you never open your mouth.
The others, they seldom talk to me.
Why should they? An old con's not going to open up unless he figures that you're square with him. You might be a stool pigeon planted in his block.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. All right, you'll take the prison pharmacy at night. I'll have a guard take you to the cage. That's all. Excused.
Oh, how many times do I have to tell you? Don't ever say sir to a screw like Orrin Henry. And don't open your trap in the cell block after O. Henry yells, shut up.
No, sir.
Oh, Porter, if you keep calling a screw sir, those cons are going to wait till you pick up something and grind their heels into your hands.
Why?
Because they don't know any better. Except for a few, they have no brains. All they know is how to act tough, like kids.
I don't even know their real names.
Of course not. You should know better. They take nicknames because they're ashamed of their real ones. Most of them don't even want their kids to know.
Yes. I wouldn't want mine to know. No one, not even when I get out of here, is going to know my real name.
Oh, shut up.
But what?
Warden's making an inspection trip one night this week.
How do you know?
Can't you hear them telling about it? Well, in prison, the whole building can talk. 1,220 men, my boy, forever tapping out what's on their minds.
Lord, what do they speak about?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Not right yet, but great promise. Send all you've got.
All right, rehearsal. Hit.
Rock of Ages, clap for me, let me hide.
I'm sick of it. You take the first pew and sing loud, Will. You get it? Come on down, jump.
What would happen, Exie, if I didn't come down?
Porter, down on the floor here and fast.
What if I said, go to the devil, Exie?
Bernio! Bernio, come here!
Hey, everybody, see again! There's gonna be some yelling in here!
Well, go! Shut up! Are you going to come down from there, Porter?
No, Exie. No. I'm not coming down.
During the first years, deep within the Ohio Penitentiary, the man who had been Will Porter sought for the man who would discover O. Henry. It was not without fearful instance of prison madness.
What did you screech for?
I didn't know I had.
Well, that's not good. That's bad. Orrin Henry passed this letter along to me this afternoon. It's another letter to your little girl, Margaret. May I read? My lovely wee Margaret. Now Daddy is on the wonderful desert island of the talking birds. You have no idea how beautiful they are.
singing every song you know as clear as Jenny Lind.
She doesn't know. She's never to know where I am.
I'll mail this letter for you, of course, just like I do your stories. You know, my wife says that you can make pictures with words that cause her to choke up. But there's something I want to tell you, Porter. If you keep on lying like this, you're going to go off your rocker. Why don't you use your real name instead of O. Henry?
My wife died because of Will Porter. The child doesn't have to suffer because of Will Porter.
You've been handling this pharmacy for a year now. Doctor says you're the best pharmacist he ever had. All the men ask for you when they're sick. You know, that's quite a compliment, Will Porter.
They're not all bad, Warden. A man's not all evil. He couldn't be. I'm finding that out myself. The longer I stay here.
Well, here it is. Another one printed.
The things a man can think of these long nights in here. And the only human being who believed I'd ever sell a story died before I sold one.
Your wife? But she believed in Will Porter. This is the second story this year. All your life you've wanted your name spread all over the country. Now it's come true. Except it says here, by O. Henry. That's not your name, it's mine. What about you? When will it say, by Will Porter?
Never. No one will ever know.
You can't run away from the truth, or you'll just keep running and running all the time, Will.
My dearest Margaret, here is another story for you that might sound sad and make you cry, but it has a wonderful surprise ending. In a big New York magazine recently, there was an article titled, O. Henry's Surprise Endings, Trademark of a Rising Genius. But this isn't about him. More than 2 years ago, while you were sleeping in the corner of Mother's room, a man named Will Porter looked down at you and then tiptoed out and got on the train with another man. The man who discovered O. Henry was not a kindly prison guard at all. You see, it was Will Porter.
Thank you, Orrin.
This is a jailkeeper's traditional privilege. The one time he doesn't read hate lying behind a man's eyes.
So long then, sir. And God bless you.
Sure. So long.
So long, Will Porter.
Not Will Porter.
You won't change your mind?
One of my publishers is offering $5,000 for the story of how Will Porter, embezzler, discovered himself in prison, came out a new man. No, Will Porter is dead, buried in this prison. But I'm not running away, Orrin. From now on, I'm O. Henry. And my living is to write. So long, Orrin. Orrin Henry.
Take good care of our name.
Now I would like to square this imaginative guess with some of the known facts about O. Henry. And after the announcement, this will bring us our footnote.
What a day. The only time it's quiet around this house is right after supper. This is when my husband always phones me when he's away on business. Oh, and then it's never quiet for a minute. Wait till you see. Judy and Butch will be on that kitchen phone before I can pick this one up. They miss their daddy just as much as I do. See what I mean? Excuse me. Someone would like to hear your voice, too. Why not make a call now?
No one, of course, ever solved the mystery of a genius. We do know now, however, that it is wholly improbable that Will Porter ever committed embezzlement. We do not know why he ran away to Central America. That absence has never been explained. We do know that while he was a fugitive there, the letters which he wrote his daughter Margaret are filled with fantastic explanations for his absence. And we do know that when he became O. Henry in a prison cell, he immediately informed her of the ugly facts, of the truth. It is generally believed that he took his name from the prison guard, Orrin Henry, but we now know that he may have thought up this name even before he met the man who really owned it, and that in itself is a rather fabulous coincidence. We do know that he left the prison quietly and went to New York with Margaret, and there became that solitary man, but great writer, O. Henry. And now we're going to have a look at the clues for this story to come.
One of the hardest of all true stories to find involves any woman who was great in a man's world. This old marriage license led us to one about a stepmother. She took over the task of rearing the children of a dead woman, and because one of them was Abraham Lincoln, this marriage license may have changed the world.
And until next week, this is John Nesbitt wishing a goodbye to you all.
Join us for Telephone Time next week. Until then, we remain sincerely yours, the Bell Telephone System.